Good morning, TikTok. I am on my way for another wonderful night shift under the fluorescent lights. For those of you that don't know, I'm an ER nurse, a contract ER nurse. But I wanted to talk about some things that have been weighing kind of heavy on my heart here lately. So a lot of people think that being a contract nurse, a travel nurse, is this glamorous job. It's kind of not. But that time is starting to come around again, where most contracts are 3 months at a time, right? 13-week contracts. That's your typical contract. And normally facilities are very transparent as to whether they want you to renew, whether they're going to keep you, whether they're not going to renew you, yada, 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 yada. A lot of times facilities are very transparent with that. But you have some facilities or certain categories of facilities that are rather not transparent. So every 3 months, it's that same type of stress that comes again is, will I have a job? Will I not have a job? Do I have a contract? Do I not have a contract? Do I need to start looking for another source of income? Do I need to start looking for another contract to go to? Yada, 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 yada. That always comes around. And, it doesn't matter how long you are contracting at a facility. Don't ever forget, you are a contractor. I don't care if you've been contracting at that particular hospital for 5 years, you still are a contractor. Regardless of the bonds you've built, regardless of the ties you've built, regardless of how you feel about the place you work at, you are still, at the end of the day, in the eyes of some HR somewhere, a contractor. Therefore, you may think you've earned a certain level of loyalty, but let me be very clear, you have not. You are still expendable, travel nurse. Remember that. Don't ever forget that. And I say that to say this. Don't get so bent out of shape about whether or not the contract will continue or whether or not the contract will end. Now, my personal situation, I love staying where I'm at. I really enjoy working where I'm at. Like with every other place that I've worked and other hospital that exists, there are challenges. There just are. Certain hospitals have a certain brand of challenge, right? that we deal with on a daily basis. But sometimes I wish that those that are in charge of contracting understood the stress that comes with, that every 3 months wondering, am I going to have a job? And they say, oh, well, you make all this money. You don't. Uncle Sam makes that money because you definitely don't. Okay? Uncle Sam eats you alive. And on top of that, people forget you're duplicating expenses. What that means is you have a place that you have to live at your current contract where you have to be able to lay your head at night. And you still have your residence back home that you must maintain as a contractor to benefit from the tax-free stipend. Some people aren't even benefiting from that. But I say that to say this. People think that we're full of all this money. We make all this money. We don't. What we make is a higher income bracket and a higher tax responsibility. That is what we make. That is what we come off with at this. But remember, if you're in a facility and you have travelers, you have contractors, maybe you have just one contractor in the whole facility, maybe your facility is primarily contract. Just be nice to them, maybe a little bit, be kind. And if you are that contracting agent that helps with the contracts, remember that somewhere there's a contractor counting on the fact of whether or not they will have a job, and that does affect their family. And I'm pretty sure if anybody was in this same position, they would feel the same way, because their family, their bills could potentially be affected at the end of the contract. Guys, let's do better, right? Let's work on a little bit of transparency here. And you know what? I'm not even saying these facilities need to be loyal to contractors. Not even saying that at all, because again, don't forget, travel nurse, you're a contractor. You are there to fill a need for that facility. You are not there to become the permanent staff member. Now, If you convert over to permanent down the line, by all means, that is wonderful, wonderful, travel nurse. But remember, you are not there to change things. You are not there to fix things. You are simply there to fill a gap in their staffing that they currently have in the moment. Now, if you want to stay there for an extended period of time, hopefully that gap will last. Sometimes it won't. Either way, always be prepared to go to the next contract, to be able to put away a little bit of money to carry you over. Just don't get reliant on one single contract, because all good things come to an end, and all wonderful contracts eventually come to a close. Now, that's my soapbox for the day. Have a wonderful evening, and I hope I have a wonderful night under the fluorescent lights. Toodles.